Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another thrilling edition of the program. You are back with me today to do this Toyota Yaris. Day 580 with no new camera, but I'm changing that tomorrow, so stay tuned. But anyway, check this out. I've already done the other side. As you can see, this shoe here doesn't look half bad. It is wearing a bit unevenly. This shoe is right down. Kind of decent comparison for you all. I'm going to be changing these as well. This car hasn't had its rear brakes done. By the looks of it, they look like factory parts. I mean, they lasted, what, 180,000 Ks? So he's doing all right. If you would like a visual representation of how these brakes work, I imagine it doesn't have this oil on it, but when you push the brake pedal, that goes on there, slowing you down. If these are not adjusted right, this is an exaggerated point, the throw of this wheel cylinder will come out quite a bit. And it'll give you a horrible pedal feel. It'll feel soft, it won't feel like it's doing much. So that's why we're changing it. Also, we're changing this wheel cylinder because sometimes in here the actual cylinder can corrode, get rusted, not move, and well, once that happens, this one might not move and this one may move, thus giving you even more uneven brake shoe wear. But anyway, let's change these. We have access to the drum. The other side was on way tighter than this. So the backstory is to this one, the customer contacted me essentially here and said, hey, I saw you on YouTube, can you come and just change my oil and filter? That's it, didn't want anything else. And he said he was providing all the parts and everything like this. So I said, yeah, no worries, bang, went there. But I was like, look, let me just check over everything while I'm here. So I'm going to cost you extra, any of this kind of crap, just to see what's going on. Because he said, I'm hearing a weird sound coming from the back of these wheels. So sure enough, pulled this off. Now, it's very clean in here because I cleaned it yesterday, thus avoiding any of the massive brake dust problems. But you can see some quite deep gouges in the actual brake shoes. So yes, we don't want to continue using these. Also, this side is really low as well. So as you can see, this is what it actually looks like. You've got your anti-rattle springs or retainers, the adjuster, the wheel cylinder, all this kind of good stuff. This hub you can actually just replace as an actual wheel bearing without doing all the annoying stuff of pressing it in because it's bolted in. But anyway, because we need to remove this wheel cylinder here, I'm going to block off this brake line. These are special pliers that are actually designed for this. Chuck these on there and pull that back. Now you can take the brake wheel cylinder off and it not leak everywhere. If your drum doesn't come off and it's just super tight, you have to loosen it via the adjuster, and this is how. See that little hole here? Stick a screwdriver in there and go down, and then it will loosen off the actual adjuster, which essentially winds this threaded rod in. Before you do anything, is take a bunch of photos like this, like that, under here, on this side, and on that side. The reason you do this is because, obviously, if you forget where things go, if you've not done this a lot of times, then at least now you have a reference for a system that worked correctly. So let's pull this apart. No special tools really needed for this. Take that spring off from there. Remember, the handbrake arm or leg goes in here. So now that's disconnected. Remove this retainer, push in and turn. Keep everything organized, do not lose it. Remove that. You can leave the actual shoe on the leg for now and we'll work this out in a minute. Same thing on this side. So simply, and place to the side. Alright, now it is time to remove this wheel cylinder. Take a open end spanner, it'll be a 10 mil. Just loosen it off like so. Try to take this out after you've taken the bolt out of the wheel cylinder. You're probably going to have some problems. So remove this, put it to the side, and then you can unscrew this. Now you'll notice no fluid comes out. See? Because we've got the pliers on there. Now we have to clean this up. Remember, these points here need to be greased. So after it's cleaned, make sure to grease this. And we're also going to clean this hub too. Cover the brake line with the bleed nipple cover. Just stops this brake cleaner getting in it, and then you can start to clean it properly. It's nice and clean now. Take a bit of grease, small amount to these points here. These are actually called your grease points. Oh, missed a bit there. Take a little bit there. Don't have to go crazy with it. From there, not a crazy amount, just a small amount of anti-seize, just so if it ever needs to get taken off in the future, you can. Say for a wheel bearing or something. Now we have to remove this leg off the actual brake shoe, so there's no real nice way to do it for me, I suppose. This is how I do it. If you have an easier way, let me know in the comments, but this is how I'm going to remove it. Just use some vice grips, push it away, and then just like that, easy as. But now we need to remove this bit, so this is how I'm going to do it. This clip here, this is probably the shittest part about the job. There are many ways to do it, like I was explaining, but the way you can do it is sometimes put the end of these needle nose pliers onto the top there and pull it off from this little mount, or you're going to have to get a screwdriver and whack the actual clip off. So now it's off. A little bit bent, but we can fix that. Shut this back in there. You put this clip back on here and then get some pliers to squeeze some of these together and it should work. It's on. So now we can move on to the other stuff. On these Yaris's there is a left and right one of these. This won't work if you have the wrong one, as in driver's side, passenger side. Make sure they don't just give you the same exact part number. An example would be, this is a 37, the other one was a 36, so keep that in mind. So when you install it, make sure to chuck a few threads in the actual wheel cylinder from the brake line first. Don't do it the other way around because you don't want to cross thread that. So you can do it fairly tight, don't have to go all the way, but enough so it can move from there. As you saw, there's two actual holes to put bolts in on this. There isn't on the factory, so it's not necessary, but it's probably just some sort of wheel cylinder that's used on many different models of vehicles. Once it's tight, you don't have to go crazy, so that's about flattened out there. Remember, this is like a cast alloy, so quarter turn will do. If it's loose, tighten it up. It won't be though. Same thing with the brake line, it's kind of flattened out, so quarter turn, done. Not taking those pliers off the brake line just yet. Let's throw everything back together first. Now this is pretty clean compared to a lot of dual cabs and stuff, so pull this out, give this a clean, re-grease it, and also wind this adjuster all the way out, and then clean it and put some grease on the threads. These seize all the time, especially when they're not maintained, and especially when they're not greased during this process on servicing, so do that. Wouldn't put anti-seize on these threads, just chuck some grease. Like this is the brake grease I use. This will be totally fine. I think it's a silicone based grease, but when you put it in, you can feel nice and smooth. All the way in, nice and smooth. And then as you are taking the threads out, it's still smooth, so you're good. I wasn't planning on changing this for ages. My warranty is quite good, but I mean, I want to get another 150,000 out of these, so all these little steps matter. Now, because this spring and adjuster lever is airplane, on the back of this, you have to install it prior to chucking the actual shoe on. So that's what we're going to do. Take that off and put it on that. Don't yank down because you're going to damage this lever. Lift the spring up. Go like that. Don't lever it from the actual lever. Back on, ready for installation. So now it's time to throw everything back together. We're going to do this quick. It's time to put the actual handbrake arm lever back on the cable, and then from there throw everything back together. So let's do that. make a bit of room from this spring so the actual shoe can get in. The best thing to do is get these pliers under the actual spring and use your thumb like so, straight in, and then that's done there. Take these pliers off. Remember, this goes at the back, don't fuck that up. So like that. Boom, and make sure it sits in the recess there. So that's that side done. Now, what's good is these springs go over the front. Sometimes these go at the back, and it is really annoying, to be honest with you. And you'll notice that these springs are offset, so don't freak out. Also, this is the easiest way to put this bottom spring on. Hook it onto this spring here, and remember which way it goes, and then hook it onto your new spring, and you can just essentially lever it into place like so. Boom. All right, so that's in now. Now you can wind this out a touch. That's in. All right, so we're going to be chucking these drums on now. It's got oil on the outside. I'm not wiping that off. I'm going to leave it on because if you spray it down with some brake clean on the outside here, it's going to rust up and look really shitty. So as long as you spray on the inside in here and then give it a wipe down with a clean, emphasis on clean rag, then you should be good to go. Remember I said we have to bleed that wheel cylinder. This is the easiest way to do it without mucking around. It's not a brake caliper, it's a wheel cylinder. So this is how you're going to do it. You're going to break this bleed nipple here and just gravity bleed it. What that means is just let it drip until it starts dripping for about 10 seconds. Then you know you're good and you've got no more air in the lines. Now, unfortunately, the mic disconnected as usual, so this is not going to work, but I wanted to show you what an unadjusted or incorrectly adjusted wheel looks like. As you can see, it is free spinning and I'm hitting the brake, but it's not doing anything. I went to adjust it to show you, but then the camera subsequently died. So this brings us back here. Going for a spin, making sure everything feels good. Nothing crazy to report, it feels fine already. I give it another hard brake so then I can actually feel the rears. Definitely pulls up. We'll do a quick little handbrake test for y'all. It's pretty good. Alright, that's another job done. I'm going to take it back to the dude. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, check out the other stuff. If you want to get in contact with me, hit up this Facebook page here. If you want to check out something from the store, jump down below. But other than that, again, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.